Hi, welcome. This is my attempt to create a series of videos for beginners focusing on how to make your life easy, min-maxing the quality of life instead of the damage of weapons. I have been using a controller throughout my time of playing Warframe as my main control. I hardly use keyboard except on those occasions where mapping the key to controller is not feasible because of the limited number of keys or options made available to the player in the UI. I think the step that makes most sense is to show you some of my options that I think are very important to new players as a starter so that they don't get miserable in their course of playing Warframe as a beginner. If like me you are using a controller, I would highly recommend to enable vibration and aim assist. Toggle sprint is important, at least for me, unless you don't mind holding down your left shift key all the way, or the left stick. Here I have an Xbox One controller. My personal preference is Xbox controller. I have a PS4 controller which I can't say I hate it, I just don't like the inconvenience that I can't swap the battery when the battery dies. Xbox controller doesn't have that problem. Let me show you how I map my controller keys. In order to cast the ability 1, 2, 3, 4 fast, I map them to the D-pad 1, 2, 3, and 4. I have also remapped the menu key into hotkey 5. In this case, the hotkey 5 is actually my arc wing. This was done during the open world missions grindings, and I find it very useful to launch whenever you need to move from one place to another. Other than that, the rest are pretty much stock. Of course, in doing this mapping, you lost the ability to map your waypoint keys, and I have that on my keyboard as G, but you can put it whichever key you like. I did not change the ability menu. If you have good way of mapping it, do let me know in the comment section below. I believe it would benefit all other players. What I hate is that the keys are fairly limited in options, especially when it comes to the Railjack scenario. While we can't do much about it, it's good to know that these keys can help you navigate through the gameplay of Railjack easier. The downward keypad is actually a casting of power number 1, and this left-right key allows you to cycle it. The toggling of the Railjack camera is a wastage of key mapping. I can't imagine who would need to use it. Holding down the right button, you can call out the Omni or tactical menu in Railjack, and it's funny that it doesn't get mapped together under Railjack. Couldn't find it at first. Blink is still mapped to the jump key, at least that's what the program is showing as of 30.2, because left button and right button are pretty much bound to the bang right and bang left. Enough of controller. Let me show you some other very important settings that you may find useful in your gameplay. If like me, you record videos and upload, you may want to enable the creator mode so that it would hide your email in the login screen to reduce the risk of getting hacked. I'm playing from Asia region, and it's my old habit to set the matchmaking ping limit to no limit. But if you want to say launch your Railjack mission using your own Railjack, you can work around this with a shorter ping time, 100 or 100 plus, and then later on in mid-game toggle it back to unlimited. Rumor has it PC type would also affect how the game matching works, but if you are on a good broadband network, you don't need to worry about all this. Legacy color palettes is a thing that you want to disable, because when you disable this, you would find a more saturated set of colors as your display as well as on your Warframe. Forget to mention one point. On the control, if you have just started the game, I would highly recommend you to pull the control sensitivity, aim sensitivity all the way to the right as max if you want to do swift change of directions and aiming. This holds true not just for Warframe. It's a good learning that one can practice when moving from one game to another, to always use the max sensitivity so that you can make your turn faster. And this would help if you are in a PvP situation. I've tuned down my trigger threshold to a shorter period, just so that it's more sensitive with my presses, and I don't need to hold down the trigger key all the time, which is a stress relief to my right index finger if using weapons like Ignis that require constant press and spraying. If you want to know what is the ping of your matching, it will show your ping against the host in this area, and if you are the host, it won't show the ping, but your frame rate and latency will be shown here instead. And ping time is a good indication of how well is your connection to the host player. If you see ping time more than 200-300, likely you will have problem opening doorways from time to time. Having a long ping time is not always bad, at least the enemies can't aim you if you are a beginner trying to survive in tough gameplays. But if you want smooth experience, then you may want to abort the mission and try another host or hosting it yourself. Again, on this regards, your ping time limit matters. Don't set to no limit if you are particular to the response time against the host. Another important point here is the field of view. If you want to be able to view more of your surrounding, do pull this to the max of 90 degrees. At least this is what I like. But if it helps you to see the left and right surrounding better, including detecting enemies that approaching, do yourself a favor, turn off the screen shake. An easy way of showing this is like when you are in Lua, the moon, tile sets, when there are crumbling buildings, your camera will shake like crazy and you can't even view your way properly. This will help you to regain your sense of directions, have better aims, so by all means turn it off for your own good. The rest of these are subject to how old or powerful your graphic card is. I personally would turn off the depth of field, the motion blur, the bloom, just so that you can get a clean and clear view of your battlefield. Color correction, in contrast to its name, is actually a pain in the butt. If you are using Loki or Valkyr, having this on will change the base tint of your entire screen, and I find it eye-scorching. So turn this off to avoid unnecessary screencasts of colors during your gameplay, which is very annoying. Here's another important quality of life option on the Mandachord volume. This is specific to your Octavia or Octavia Prime. If you don't want to get bored by your own music over and over again, do consider to turn this down or mute it by setting it to 0. And this is another option for your allies Mandachord. Turn it to 0 because you don't really need to listen to what others are playing, and that will be usually quite annoying to hear a song that you may not like repeatedly during your mission. Radio chatter refers to Nora's nagging. Turn it off if you are like me, finding it very annoying. I would choose to turn this all on, including mark your pets, show the damage number to know how well or how bad you are doing, show playlist, which is this area to your right, to tell whether your squad are healthy, their level of health, their level of energy. Ability thoughts are your summons of either twins or your allies, so turn it on to tell where they are. This also holds true for Railjack's on-call crew. Show the teammate's name, show enemy's name so that you know who or what you are shooting, so that when you are doing the scanning, you know exactly what are you scanning. Personally, I prefer the overlay map, which is in this area, a big chunk, and if it's a huge map, huge tile set, you have it all over the screen. The good thing is if you turn your view with mouse or your right analog stick, you can usually detect where the other of your squad mates are. Sometimes if they are not moving, then you know they are AFK. Only the overlay map gives you that big coverage. The other closest option is to press and hold M on your keyboard to show the overview of your map, at least in open world like Fortuna or Eidolon or even Deimos. You do have the option to set the fading level of the map so that it doesn't disrupt your view, your aim during gameplay. Personally, I think 10 to 15 is fine. Anything below 10 is too blurred to see. I run my game in 4K, so I bump up some of the HUD scale to some 185%. On the display, I use window mode because I have an extended screen that sometimes I play videos or movies on the other screen. In Windows mode, if I have my menu turned on, I can easily move my mouse over without needing to touch any of the, say, escape key and control the other extended screen. That's the only advantage I get. But if you want optimal performance, do have it on full screen. So that's all for my menu, my option and settings. Feel free to share in the comment section below if you have something better, something more efficient. And let me know what you want to see in the next video. I can probably talk about the controllers that I use. I have a few variants of Xbox controller. Probably a review will be good. I may also talk about some of the Warframe economy, how to build or how to find good builds on the internet, how to trade, how to survive in-game, what meta frame to use for what type of mission, or maybe walking through my list of builds and arsenal. Why are they built so? All of these builds have a purpose. Of course, the purpose change through time, through the new update and needs of the gameplay. Until next time, thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one.